Have enough liquid courage in your system by now that you're ready to face an army. Lovely day for a swig and a song, isn't it? What do you want to know? Soy seal, yes. Where fishermen come to live and street dogs come to die. Now, which of the two would you be then?
Just cut the cackle with your bibbies. Now then, stranger. If it's the city of Soul you're looking for, you're heading in the right direction. Even though most folks are trying to escape rather than reach the damn place these days. Not that I could blame them. This place is cursed, I tell you. First the dead rise from their graves, and then entire tribes of orcs sound the trumpets of war. You take to the rifle, lass.
Fairly well.
Hoping someone special will be impressed by the way you wield that great heaving weapon.
Hail, Source Hunter. Why, I don't think I could ask for a more welcome sight on these cursed beaches. The Legion welcomes you. I'm a proud Legionnaire and always will be, but I thought we'd be doing more slashing and less dying when we landed in Sicil. It's these orcs. Now that they have bees in their bonnets about God only knows, we need every hand we can get. That rat-faced shaman of theirs even went to the trouble of launching a fireball at a ship in the harbour to the west of here. They may need help. I would go myself, but we Legionnaires are under strict orders never to abandon our posts. Never know when another one of these little raiders might sidle up the beach. Beats me what traitorous madness came over that dog. A man among orcs? It'd be like one of your kind running with a sorcerer. Whatever the Cur's incentive to raise swords alongside that murderous lot, let's all hope it was a private grudge. Can you imagine if we had to add a slew of wild-eyed, orc-loving bedlamites to our list of enemies in Sicil? Taken before his time, far before his time.
What is this ruckus? Sounded worse than a dozen tomcats fighting over the world's last mackerel. Ah, but I see we've suffered another orc landing. And judging by the relative ease with which it was dispatched, I can only come to one conclusion. Source hunters have arrived in Sicil. You're as welcome as a glass of cooled milk on a hot day, my friend. I'm Ahu, at your service. It was I who requested your presence in this troubled city. So you were, and so you weren't. There we are. Meet my other half, Hunter. Ha ha! No need to look so flabbergasted. I may be a wizard rife with tricks and guile, but I assure you my plea is an earnest one. So, now that the cat is out of the bag, let us turn to the matter of Councillor Jake's murder. It's hard to put my finger on it, but I can feel in my very whiskers that sorcery was at play. Visit the scene of the crime, and I'd bet sardines for salad you'll say the same. Captain Aureus, though, the local commander of the Legion, insists I'm seeing ghosts. I insist he's blind to all but the undead. Jake was murdered in a downstairs room of the King Crab Inn, up in Sicil proper. The Legion keeps it under lock and key, though, so you'll need Aureus's permission should you want to have a peek. So there are, or rather, there is. Popular opinion has it his wife did the deed. But to be frank, I have my doubts. She seems a likely candidate, to be sure, but that would make her a sorceress. Esmeralda knows how to charm, yes, but I just don't see her magic extend beyond a frolicsome look and wink. Still, don't simply take my word for it, Hunter. It may be well worth your while to cross-examine her yourself. The Legion has her under guard in her shop near the town square. That's where you'll find poor Jake's widow. A human, you say? Truly? But that would be like a kitten leading a wolf pack. And yet, I have heard rumors about a sect of sorts, a shadowy set of worshippers that associate even with orcs. Some say they're sorcerers, but people will say that about anyone who behaves a bit strangely nowadays. I don't quite know what to make of this news, but thank you for informing me. It'd be foolish to dismiss such a curious event out of hand. Ah, the undead. They've been clawing their way out of the ground for 2 years now. And for 2 years the stalemate between them and the living has been dragging on at a weary pace indeed. The Legion did a good job keeping them at bay, but I think it's fair to say that without my magic-infused ballistae, they'd have gotten the better of us by now. Someone is responsible for the outbreak. Necromancers are at work, but who are they and where do they hide? Alas, that searching for them is like searching for a single louse in a lion's mane. Unfortunately, that is absolutely correct. The Orc siege is yet another hairball stuck in this city's already choking throat, and it shows no signs of abating. We've cordoned off the western beach where most Orc activity has been reported. For the 9 lives of me, I can't seem to figure what they're doing here. There's nothing of interest along the waterfront, except for a set of caves with an unfavorable reputation. Maybe they're after some pirate's treasure, the fools. Oh, but that's not a trick. It's a blessing. Or does it surprise you that I enjoy taking a feline guise? Such magic is a gift, Hunter. To tread upon the realm of instinct. Even articulate speech, perhaps humanity's greatest asset, cannot give expression to something so inextricably innate. To be out in the night, to stalk on silent paws and hunt with only the moon as your witness. You couldn't possibly imagine the thrill. But of course, it's handy to speak in more than meows. And I couldn't brew potions or make machines without opposable thumbs. This I freely admit. Let's just say I have found a way to enjoy the best of 2 worlds. I'm glad we've met, Source Hunter. And I'm certain we have a lot more to talk about. Feel free to visit me whenever you want. I've set up a workshop in the Legion's headquarters. Once you're there, just take the stairs, but do pay a visit to Aureus first. He may bark like a beagle with its tail stuck in the door, but you won't get very far in your investigation without speaking to the de facto leader of Sicil. And with that, I bid you adieu, Hunter. Adieu and good luck. May your enemies prove to be mere mice, and you the dauntless mouser.
Sorcery, sects, undead, orcs. Looks like I have my work cut out for me.
An orc in love. Ha! When this little Chatham fades, she'll liberate the flesh from our faces.
Come now, enough steam and gloom.
Taken before his time, far before his time.
Avert your gaze, and I'll handle this threat for all our sakes.
She wouldn't hurt a fly, and I won't let you pack a horn on her head.
One day, Moira, one day you'll show 'em all.
Bringing your little orchid girlfriend here is like bringing a wolf to a hen house.
Nonsense. Listen. She's howling.
What fool would thrust a 2-bit love potion out of a back-page circular from
One
useful
day,
gore?
comrade, vengeance will be ours.
An orc in love. When this little scoundrel fades, he'll liberate the flesh from our faces.
Taken before his time, far before his time.
The rest of us fought? What's the problem now? We didn't hear a thing. orders to guard the bridge or not?
And where do we go? You watched your brethren slaughtered by twiddled your thumbs.
You're lucky we're protecting the rear.
slaughter while you twiddle your thumbs.
You're lucky we're protecting the rear.
An orc in love. Ha! When this little cat and pig will liberate the flesh from our faces. Come now.
Upon my finger, I'm a thing.
One die, Moira. One die.
And I'll handle this threat for all our sakes.
She wouldn't hurt a fly, and I won't let you catch a horn on her head.
Blasted orcs! Learn how to play with fire!
Shit, blazing ever higher.
What if the orcs are sending another fleet?
Blasted orcs have learned how to play with fire. Come on, Ben! Pull your backs into it!
Come on, man, put your backs into it!
Say, stop this!
I don't know how you did that, hocus pocus, but boy, am I grateful. Nothing worse than seeing a fine vessel like that disappear beneath the waves. I thought the old gal's fate was sealed when the orc shaman set his fiery gaze on her sails. But you managed to rescue her from a watery grave. Closest thing to a miracle I've ever seen.
Ever hear about the time the captain...
A home, a livelihood, all sunk in a matter of minutes while we could do nothing but look on.
and don't forget the
Well,
time-
we were merchants what seems like a moment ago. With our ship sunk, we're little more than 3 men with nothing more to say than boo. These damn orcs. They can't keep off this place for the life of them. They came in here slinging fireballs and swinging swords. Wasn't a thing we could do to defend ourselves. With our ship gone, nothing for it but to get a job. Slim pickings around here, that's for sure. Maybe you can keep an eye out, though. That was a right stunning show of magic you pulled, it was. Wish you'd have been around when our own barge went down in flames.
You there! Where can a few honest sailors find a living wage around here?
Have you found us a job yet? We'll take anything. Really? Well, we were merchants what seems like a moment ago. With our ship sunk, we're little more than free men with nothing more to say than boo. These bleeding orcs. I can't keep off this place for the life of them. They came in here, slinging fireballs and swinging swords. Wasn't a thing we could do to defend ourselves. Well, you never know when something might turn up. Keep an eye out, and so will we. That was a right stunning show of magic you pulled, it was. Curse the gods. Is it so difficult to find a day of labour?
Ah, curse the gods! Is it so difficult to find a day of labour? Have you found us a job yet? We'll take anything, really. Well, we were merchants what seemed like a moment ago. With our ship sunk, these bleeding orcs! They can't keep off this place for the life of them! They came in here, well, you never know when something might turn up. That was a right stunning show of
and don't forget the time you got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Council's wife.
Oh, source hunter. Who better to ask?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst, yours? Here? Inside Seal? Bah! Of all the cursed umps of rock to land on, Conrad chooses this one. That was some fast acting there. Many thanks on behalf of all us seamen. Who knows if it's even over for sure? Those damn orcs keep sending us these terrible surprises. Ever hear about the time?
Sauce? Here in Seal? Duh. Of all that cursed hunks of rock to land on, Conrad chooses the... A ship's got a soul too, you know. You did a mighty fine thing saving that barge. For those of us raised in crews instead of families, it's kin to saving a fellow man. Madness! Thought we were done with those swampy uglies a fortnight ago. Note, though, that none of them dared to come close to the tide splitter.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Federal's carriage for a joyride?
Ha! No, he didn't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Council.
Ahoy, sailor! Are you enjoying the fresh winds of Seal?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that all...
Name's Conrad. Cargo trader, sea captain, an expert in all things nautical. Folks across Andervale know to give old Conrad a holler when it comes to rare imports and magical items. Those orcs must be out of their barbarous minds launching an attack on a city where a great wizard resides. Though even I must admit they put up a hearty effort. I'll tell you, the only time I'd consider waging a suicide campaign like that would be if whatever I sought was something worth dying over.
Ever hear about the time the...
Ahoy, sailor! Those orcs must be out of their barbarous minds launching an attack on a city where a great wizard resides. Though even I must admit they put up a hearty effort.
Is that why we never sail the Youthful anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst! Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Federal's carriage for a joyride?
Ha! No, he didn't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
I'll tell you, The only time I'd consider waging a suicide campaign like that would be if whatever I sought was something worth dying over.
Speaking of yours, here, in Seal, bah! Of all the cursed hunks of rock to land on, Conrad chooses this one. A ship's got a sail too, you know. You did a mighty fine thing saving that. Who knows if it's even over for sure? Those damn orcs keep sending us these terrible surprises. We're passing along now to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Ythulgore anymore?
Speaking of Ythulgore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst. Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Feather's carriage for a joyride?
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Yes, sir.
Really? The greatest warriors in Rivellon can't cross a rope.
Is that why we never sail to Ythulgore anymore?
Speaking of Ythulgore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature. Sauce? Here in Seal? Nah. Of all the cursed stunks of rock to land on, Conrad chooses this one.
All hail the rain spirit. That was a fine display of magicianship, it was. Arhu knew what he was doing, bringing in a source hunter, didn't he? I thought the old girl's fate was sealed when the orc shaman set his fiery gaze on her sails, but you managed to rescue her from a watery grave. Closest thing to a miracle I've ever seen.
Start earning an extra gold piece and out, I'll walk out that door.
Good on you. These bossmen respect you.
Seal, shiver me timbers and sliver me heels.
A source hunter? I thought you lot had burnt the last of those nutty sorcerers by now. Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest of the lot on my racks.
Steady, boys, steady. We'll be leaving as soon as we're packed up.
Slimy, reeking, rotting sea garbage. Slimy, reeking, rotting sea garbage.
Duty's not so bad, eh? Would be quite a bit better if I could do it in peace.
Just making conversation, mate.
Mate, he says. We are colleagues, nothing more.
Come now, it's just a turn of phrase.
Will you please turn your phrases elsewhere?
Salutations! Source hunters, I see. I'm Sergeant Curtius, proud protector of this house of Legion goods. Curtius is my name. The Legion is my calling. This is a storing house for Legion supplies. Perhaps the most important building in the realm, by my and others' estimation. And I, Sergeant Curtius, have been trusted to guard it. Nonsense.
One day,
Listen.
Sarah. One day you'll show 'em all.
Darling.
What fool would trust a two-bit love potion out of
Well, a source hunter. About time the council took us seriously. Maybe you can start with the two idiots hiding their pet orc here.
Not even a skeptic like you can deny that she loves me.
An orc in love. Ha! When this little chatting fades, she'll liberate the flesh from our faces.
Come now, enough doom and gloom. Cast your gaze instead upon my fair, fanged...
Ah, who better than a proven orc crusher to convince my dumbbell of a friend here that orcs are predators, not pets?
Enough of that. I know how dangerous an orc can be, but this one has been reformed. Anyone can see that she's completely docile, but my prejudiced friend here still wants to kill her.
Maybe before the great orc raid we had time to indulge Ninius's idiotic obsessions. But now we're needed at our posts. I can hardly believe I've been wasting time protecting an orc when I should be running them through.
Excuse my friend's violent outbursts. He hasn't enjoyed a woman's touch in quite some time now. It makes him a bit edgy.
Your woman's touch is less of a loving caress and more of a claw shanked brutally through the throat. I'll take my chances as a bachelor, thanks.
My friend here and I were patrolling outside the city walls, when who did I see creeping along the shore but this lovely orcish lady? For a brief second, as long as eternity, we locked eyes. Perhaps confused by the butterflies in her stomach, she sprang up and began running, claws bared towards Marius. Fortunately for him, I had the presence of mind to ignore my sword and instead adroitly fling my pouch of trinkets towards her. A vial of love potion shattered over her head, and when she turned to face me, she became instantly enamored. I'm sure she must have been compelled to join the Orcish army under some kind of duress. A lady with such a sweetly savage manner would never willingly join up with those vicious marauders.
I can assure you there wasn't a hint of sweetness in those murderous eyes when she lunged at my throat. She may be confined here for now, but who's telling when she'll escape and who she'll rip to shreds?
I've always had an amateur interest in all things alchemical. When I read in an esteemed periodical from the Wizards of Youthful Gore about an amazing opportunity that could change my life, I had to act fast or lose the once-in-a-lifetime deal. I sent away for the world-famous love potion, available for a limited time only, and it has worked exactly as promised.
You see what a fool my friend has been, spending all his cash on snake oil and bringing a temporarily tranquilized monster into our midst to boot.
What kind of monster would lie in a published advertisement? I'm sure the effects of the potion will be everlasting, as printed.
You see, he'd believe it was noon at midnight if he read it on a printed pamphlet. Please tell me you can reason with him, or ditch reason and use your sword to shave him from his murderous darling.
You're right. The information she provides could well turn the tides here in Sicile.
Bravo! I trust not only the potion, but my scaly sweetheart in and of herself.
You're going to regret this. We're all going to regret this.
Oh!
One day, Moira. One day you'll show 'em all.
Report!
Well, a source hunter.
Isn't that a good thing? Well, a source hunter. A very hearty welcome to our humble warehouse. Have a look around. And don't mind if I pick your brain about the scoop around Undervale. I'm behind on my current affairs. I tell you, this gig sure beats getting my toes bitten off by zombies out in the field. We warehouse guards don't have to do much apart from stroll the perimeter a few times an hour. And of course, every now and again, some friendly folks, like yourself, will wander through here. And nothing beats a pleasant conversation, though my comrade Horatius has quite different opinions on that matter. Have you talked to him? Thinks every man, woman and child who steps foot in this place wants to rob it blind. If I so much as greet a townsperson with a hello instead of a state your purpose, he starts frothing on and on about guardly duty and security breaches. This Jake business is quite the scandal, no? I myself suspect his wife, Esmeralda, and the butcher seconds that, let me tell you. Then again, and you didn't hear this from me, he's going through quite the nasty divorce himself, and there's his children to consider. But I imagine his youngest, Kimberly, won't mind. Never did get on well with her mother ever since the incident. Oh, it's an unparalleled pleasure having a fresh ear around here.
Salutations! Source hunters, I see. I'm Sergeant Curtius, proud protector of this house of Legion goods. This is a storing house for Legion supplies, perhaps the most important building in the realm, by my and others' estimation. And I, Sergeant Curtius, have been trusted to guard it.
When this little charm fades, she'll liberate the flesh from our faces.
This place reeks of orc.
These gates are to remain closed at all times. Captain's orders. Wait a second. Well, I'll be a little red imp's uncle, the Source Hunter. Sorry for the gruff treatment. I didn't recognise you right away. Please tell me, how can I aid the investigation? You can see security's tighter than ever around here since that surprise attack the Orcs put on a fortnight ago. They did enough damage to shake up Ahu and Captain Aureus something fierce. We can only hope to hold back the undead and these left-field orc attacks long enough for reinforcements to arrive. I don't think you're quite ready to head out into the wilds to me. Also, a party of 1 or 2 runs the risk of being outflanked and outnumbered. I'd bring some backup if I were you. Of course, the choice is yours, but are you sure you want to venture out? Thank you for heeding my words of warning, Hunter. Scythiel needs you alive and well.
Slimy, reeking, rotting seagull.
Murder within the walls, undead outside of the walls, and here we legionnaires sit twiddling our thumbs.
Drink and gamble. That's all we do around here. Hope you fare better, Source Hunter.
I've spotted something.
Anybody?
Neither of courses to mind. Can't have gotten far. But if one were to reduce the quantity of skull dust by a percentage of 2, perhaps the stability could be increased by as much as 3-fold.
Anybody? Neither of you cares to plead for his very existence?
Oh, a Source Hunter. Imagine that. Quite a bit more petite than the last of your kind I encountered, aren't you? Yes, by nearly 20 centimeters of tibia, as my memory serves.
But no matter. Even if it couldn't spare its heartiest specimen, I'm sure the Order sent the individual with the next highest probability of success. Yeah?
Anybody? Neither of you cares to plead for his very
Me?
existence.
Why, I'm more than a little surprised you haven't heard of me. Perhaps I can jog your memory. It was I who cured the Duchess of Arata of her unslakable thirst, a simple pinch of Atropa belladonna in her morning tea. I who discovered that aging itself can be halted by a single application of Cicuta Douglasii on the tongue. Not to mention that it's been my guidance that has permitted my apprentice Evelyn to make quite a name for herself around Sicile of late. Yes. If that's how we're referring to the secretive use of a revolutionary healing method she refuses to share with her own master. She's in the other room as we speak. Perhaps you can prevail upon her to offer a demonstration. She's gotten hold of a stone, supposedly capable of fantastic feats of healing, but she won't let me take the briefest look at it. She claims to have gotten the relic from a little northern town, Silver Glen by name, and that an abbot there blessed it with the power to heal. Utter rubbish, I say. But with these blasted undead haunting the travel routes, I can hardly march up to Silver Glen to learn the truth myself. Well, she certainly possesses a critical eye and an exacting manner when it comes to making difficult medical decisions. I expect she'll be a very successful healer in her own right when the time comes. She is learning from the best, after all. Sorry, but there isn't much work for sailors in a house of medicine. Unless one of them happens to have a secret stash of healing stones. Certainly, what would you like to know? The counsellor. Terrible loss, that. Though we were hardly more than acquaintances, I knew him to be a devoted civil servant. From what I can tell, it seems to be a simple case of jealousy turned violent. The affairs of his wife, Esmeralda, were hardly a secret, you know. I've applied myself to that problem for 2 years and still haven't come a step closer to solving it. I declare it an act of the Almighty's, if I believed in such things. Some events, Source Hunter, can be neither controlled nor understood by mere men.
A mysterious healing stone. Interesting indeed.
Nothing sets me on edge like inexplicable magic. Excuse me? This is a private sick room. Who in the name of the Seven do you think you are barging in here? Out, I say, right this instant. Oh, I'm sorry. It's this task. I'm just... Who am I to meddle with life and death this way? I'm an apprentice of the healing arts. Healing! But this decision feels like precisely the opposite. I have but one healing stone, you see, and 2 direly wounded men who need it. I've been racking my brain trying to decide on the best method to settle this grave situation, but perhaps it's better off in the hands of an esteemed source hunter. Surely you are more accustomed to weighing life and death than I. What would you like to know? One of the brave few willing to traverse the trade routes plagued by the undead. A young man, but excellent in matters of business, before he fell victim to an orcish club in the north, that is. Thankfully for him, a cattle trader found him, nearly dead, but not quite so, and brought him here straight away. Quite the venerable staple of Seal, Stephen, and recently blessed with his 3rd grandchild. He was leading a crew of builders when a stray beam struck him in the temple, and only a few days shy of his last day of work before retirement, no less. Nearly everyone in Seal is familiar with Grinning Stephen, and, as you can imagine, he's quite dear to his family. Yes, a curious relic indeed. I got it from a kindly abbot, Loic by name, in the northern town of Silver Glen. He is of a certain faith, the Immaculates they call themselves, that espouses the belief that certain stones can heal wounded flesh. I myself was nothing if not skeptical of his claims, but something happened as he handed me the stone. A small cut on my finger instantly healed, leaving no trace of the wound. Needless to say, I was astounded. But it's strange. The stone is only good for a single use at a time before it reverts to a useless, inert state. It takes time to regain its magical properties, and I guard it cautiously. You are? I thank you a million times for your help. Who have you decided should receive the healing stone? Yes, Boris deserves to experience all the pleasures of life that Stephen has already enjoyed. Boris it is? Yes, I'll deliver the stone. I'm glad we'll get to save one man. My heart breaks for the other. No, this is highly What is this? Lightning! What happened? Is this a dream?
I don't think so. That stone. Somehow it sent us flying into the stars.
Terrible, terrible! It will consume us all! By the quill that lasts a billion words, what's this? 2 Rivalonians here? At the end of space and time? How very, very, very curious! Oh, yes, proper introductions. Zigzags the historian at your service. It is my job to record all that was, and is, and hopefully all that is to be. As for how I got here, well, for a historian appointed by the gods themselves, hopping to the end of time is as easy as 1, 2, 3. How you got here, though? That's a rather more interesting question. On such a tiny and rapidly shrinking vestige of space and time, I wouldn't have expected to find a soul but my own shadow. At last a question I can answer most definitively. I mentioned already that this place is the end of time. If that didn't send your heart into your stomach and your pulse a-flutter, it should have. Time ought naturally to have no end at all. Indeed, I can think of no worse nightmare for a chronicler such as myself. But something totally, utterly terrible has happened. Show, don't tell, I always say. So go, peer through yonder looking lens and feast your soon-to-be terrified eyes on the darkness that is approaching.
That imp might be quite mad.
Then we'd better appease him and have a look through the looking lens.
You saw? Terrifying, isn't... What's this? The portal! It's... The portal has become active! Fantastic! Astounding! Onward we shall go! It's quite sprung to life, just like the long, dormant flames that decorate this observatory. After all my waiting and hoping, could it be? You, dear stranger, you must be the key. Something about your presence here is causing the end of time to grow. The true end itself to move further away. Those torches, a light! This portal active once more! It cannot be coincidence! Goodness me, how right you are! There's so much to take in, I'd nearly forgotten. And what you saw has been haunting my mind since I first discovered it. It is the void itself! The dragon that is devouring creation! When I speak of the end of time, this is exactly what I mean. I can't say for sure where it came from, how or why, but I do know this. It's shrinking our future by the second. And if we don't stop it, it will devour the past and present as well. It's not that I believe, it's that I have seen. Long have I been waiting here, hoping that one day this very portal would ignite. Then, no longer than a few mere moments after you arrive, zap it goes. The chronicler of time knows a pattern when he sees one. Ah, though I cannot say for certain, if it is what I believe, then our prayers might well be answered. In fact, every last question that ever plagues your noggin might well be answered, for I believe what lies beyond this portal is nothing other than... But why spoil the mystery? As soon as we leap through, we'll find out for certain. After you, after you. Oh, what wonders we may find on the other side. You first, but don't dilly-dally. Yes, just as I hoped. There she is. There it is.
And he's off.
It seems the imp has spotted exactly who and what he'd hoped to find here.
last chest. If you believe yourself worthy of rifling through my ample treasures, I do dare you to prove it. Find my 4 sisters, no more than one in each of the realms of your wide world, and each by each, you'll discover how to open me.
Could it be, milady? The weaver of time? Mother of history? Author of all that has ever been?
Indeed, Sir Imp. As surely as you are he who chronicles all that I weave.
Astounding! Unbelievable! I have so many questions for you, so much to ask, so much to say.
You have brought guests, I see. Strange. Very strange guests.
My reaction exactly, milady. It was their arrival here at the end of time that instigated my finding you. But why? Surely you must know.
This is a question better put to our guests themselves. Tell us, how did you arrive upon this plane? If any other being in Rivellon asked me about the details of their comings and goings, I could describe them down to the minutest of details. But you are different. Of you, I see nothing. I know nothing. So please, do tell me, how did you arrive here? A stone. So, it was a stone that caused the great shock of energy that brought you here, and it infused you with new life as well. Is that so? Not like this, no. What happened to you is unique in all my work. Never had I experienced something so contrary to my nature. To weave something I had not seen, had not expected. Life does not simply spring into existence, you see. But yours has. You appeared before me from the moment you came into contact with that stone. Starstone. I now know it to be called.
But, Madam Weaver, how is it possible? Do you not see all? Have you not woven all that is and could ever be into your tapestry?
Like the stones, your guests are a mystery to me. I see them before me in this world, but their likenesses appeared not upon my tapestry until they revived the stone. Source hunters, it would seem that yourselves and Starstone are inextricably linked. Why and how, I cannot say, but I do believe that finding more stones will reveal to me who you yourselves truly are. Starstone is not what it seems, Source Hunter. Its true nature must be part of a greater secret, a secret lost even to me. Do you see what violence my work has suffered? What wounds lay upon the tapestry of time?
Mysteries of all time, gaps in history. Oh, how they've tormented me for eons.
It would appear that Starstone transforms at your touch, granting me new thread by which to mend the tapestry. Thus, it restores time itself.
I see. What the void would shrink, Starstone restores.
Yes, Though I cannot explain why this starstone is the antidote to the void's ravishment of our realm. If we do not restore time, if we do not discover the true nature of these stones, the void will consume us all. Indeed you must, though I may not yet understand why. It seems that you and you alone can unlock the powers within Starstone. Yet we are not the only entities who know these stones to be so much more than
Why, of course, that's what they were doing. I have recorded their doings, you see. Collectors of Starstone, more and more by the day. Now I understand. They'd keep the stones from our reach. They'd prevent the mending of time.
Without these stones, Hunter, there will be no Rivellon. The entire tapestry will crumble. Even this plane will fall victim to the void's insatiable hunger.
That shall never be, milady. As sure as Zix comes before Zax, we will put a stop to it. First we mend the tapestry, then we stop the void. Please, our most mysterious guest, are you ready? Are you willing? Will you hunt out the stones? Will you help us restore what has been lost? Come, come! I've got something for you if you're up to the challenge. What'll it be, Source Hunter? Do tell! The glint in your gaze and the set of your brow suggest to me that you've not given up on our dear old Rivellon. Not just yet. No, with you searching out Starstone, I believe we'll mend the tapestry in no time. We'll find out just who you are and how exactly to send the void back to wherever it came from. But you'll need a way to travel between Rivellon and this homestead, won't you? Who wouldn't want to see what fantastic changes your search will yield? And who knows what the Weaver might discover about you? Luckily, the power of portals is known to you, so I'll let you in on the little secret of how to transport back and forth from the end of time. Just, you know, don't go sharing it around. Never know who we can trust these days. Off you go, then. You've Starstone to find, and I've a tapestry to examine. Surely there must be some clue here as to how on earth you're related to the end of time.
Cross my heart, hope to fade in the void, I honestly don't know. But ask her. If she claims it is so, perhaps she knows why.
Like the imp said to the ballista operator, shoot! Wouldn't it just? Would that I had a Starstone sightseeing guide, but alas, such a booklet does not exist. Just like yourselves, Starstones are curiously absent from history, both in my writings and on the tapestry of time. From what I can gather, though, they were once cherished by devious sorcerers whose reign ended long ago. The stones are therefore most likely to be found in the ancient places of this world. Ruins, caves, the lairs of long-forgotten evils. Those are the dens you should frequent. 2 more pieces of advice. Don't go unarmed, and consult with my agent. Neither do I, but the mere fact that activated Starstone has set the Weaver of Time weaving again more than implies that it and the Void Dragon are natural enemies. This in turn more than implies that you are the Void's natural enemy, for it is you who is setting new events in motion. You who is handing the Weaver new threads. And that which she is weaving is more than an ornament to decorate the shelter plane. It is both history and future history. It is all of time. We may not understand the how yet, but our aim is clear. We shall save creation from the grip of the Void. Now, isn't that a lovely mission? Oh, I don't know if I'm more than those things per se, but having been given a divine mission does have its perks. Old age can't touch me, that's one. Immortality is mine as long as no one skewers me with a sword, and even then I'll be back in a jiffy. But of course I have a price to pay for something that is priceless. It is my duty to record all of history, and an arduous task that is. Not to mention how much stress that void out there is causing me. The end of time. I'll be out of a job. So, gather those star stones so that we may know the history that was lost. Know so that we must not repeat what leads us to this dangerous precipice, but do better and close the dark eye of the void forever. Lonesome, observing the frontier of creation, surfing the vibrant tide of the eons, always approaching yet never reaching shore. Lonesome, being privy to all that has been and all that is. Well, yes, actually. I don't mean to complain, but one certainly doesn't mind a bit of company now and then. Perhaps you can imagine the profound pleasure it is to have made the Weaver's acquaintance after all these years. I can hardly wait to pick her brain about the great battle of the sons of Sigurd. The last Rivalonian who remembers it died more than 7,000 years ago. Before you go, Source Hunter, a final word. Once you return to Rivalon, there will be someone waiting for you. My agent, my eyes and ears upon your world. I hope he'll be able to help you as much as he can. Time, I need hardly remind you, is of the essence. A question has me stumped, milady. Why are there two of us? Two beings that record all of history parallel to one another?
That is a good question, Zigzags. One without a conclusive answer, though its resolution may lie in conception. Where you chronicle, I both chronicle and create. Where you arrive at conclusions, I spin origins besides. Lies at its heart? Why, nothing, of course. The great absence of all that even the gods cannot comprehend. It eludes us, like infinity, or the finality of tick-tocking time.
The Lady of Time! The
Source Hunters, I welcome you once again to the realm of Rivellon after your travels through the chasms of space. Nice to have found a shelter, wouldn't you agree? Where you can come to no harm. I know the imp historian has told you about his agent on Rivellon, and that agent is I. So now that you know of the alliance between me and Sir Zigzags, let us turn to the business at hand. Starstone.
Legs and run away?
And I'll be delighted to give it. Dark webs are being woven around these parts, and it is my firm belief starstones are the flies the sorcerer's spiders are trying to catch. It can therefore hardly be a coincidence that Councillor Jake was a collector of the stones we seek. His foul murder and the plight of dying time must somehow be interconnected. That means the task you have been given remains crucial. Find the assassin that did away with Jake, for you're bound to stumble upon Starstone along the way.
Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away?
While you were being lectured by our friend the historian and the grande dame of time, I snuck into his house and had a look around. The advantage of being a cat, you know. You go where you please with impunity. And sometimes the lady of the house even rewards you with a slice of fresh herring. That's where I saw them in a cabinet. Mere slivers, but specks of starstones nonetheless. They lay there, silent and innocent, though bloody murder may have been committed in their name. Don't we all long for a sanctuary where our worldly troubles can be held at bay? A bed or a basket so snug it becomes, in a word, safety. But perhaps I speak only for myself, not for veterans such as yourselves that by necessity call any patch of ground they rest upon home. Like any cat worth its salt, though, I deeply cherish a secret refuge unbeknownst to anyone. To be able to repose without a care is such a precious circumstance, save it all too seldomly. Let me phrase it like Zigzags might. A universe without time is like a pen without ink. A pointless instrument stripped of the potential of creation. It is void. It is death. It is nothing. I'll not pretend to have all the answers, or that I understand all that is happening here and out there among the stars, but I do know I'd rather err on the side of caution. If Zigzags worries, I worry. We are talking about a creature, after all, that has reclined among the divines as nonchalantly as you and I laze beside the hearths of home.
Did it sprout legs and run away?
I met him first, a long time ago, out in the wastes of Youthful Gore. He wondered aloud what on earth a cat was doing out there in the scorching desert, then shared what little food and water he had with him. So I told him who I was and showed him my human form. He laughed and marveled and told me stories about his travels. In the end, he even shared his great sorrow with me. The unspeakable thing you saw through his looking lens. I was awed and frightened, but swore to help him in any way I could. As of now, that includes helping the two of you. Oh, before you go, here, take this teleporter pyramid. A handy toy indeed that Zigzags asked me to give to you. You'll need the other one too if you want to make use of its powers, but alas, I seem to have misplaced it. Don't worry though. Use this one here and it'll take you straight to its twin. Now that this matter has been settled, hunters, I shall detain you no longer. But rest assured, I'll do my share of hunting too. So if you spot a white cat during your travels, do stop to say hello.
What is going on here? First I have to shoo away a creeping white tomcat, and now there's a perfect stranger in my bathroom. Get out, will you? Little mix-up indeed. I don't know what you and that horrible little imp are planning, but leave my bathroom out of it.
Well,
out!
that's what you
no,
get for trying.
If you please. This room is private. Don't just stand there. Go! Away with you! What are you still doing here? Begone! Out! Now, if you please! This room is private. Don't just stand there. Go! Away with you! What are you still doing here? Begone!
I've got my eyes on the prize.
Out! Now, if you please! This room is private. Don't just stand there. Go! Away with you!